6 comes up.
All right, we'll go ahead and call today's special call meeting to order. Let the record reflect all council members are present. Is there anyone that wishes to address council this time in public comment? Nobody. Okay, we'll move now into the meeting. We have ordinances on third readings. For the following, we'll start with 1A, ordinance amending fiscal year 2024-2025 budget for end of year adjustments. Council, you can see in there, this is just to kind of clean up the end of year as we move into our next new fiscal year starting July 1st. If I can, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve ordinance amending the fiscal year 2024-25 budget for adjustments.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in approve say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now moving on to the second ordinance approving fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Can I entertain a motion to approve the budget that we have updated?
So move.
I'll second that as well. We're now in the discussion. Does anyone wish to?
I do, Mayor.
Sure.
I would like to make a motion to change the budget for the Fair Park Senior Citizen to go back to the 23-24 of 20,000 instead of 15,000 on the 25-26 budget.
Okay, so the motion we have now is actually to approve the budget as submitted. So you're asking that we withdraw that motion and make that change? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I guess
Okay.
you could say that.
All right. Anyone else have any comments or discussion on the budget?
I have just a question. In years past, there's been opportunities for our department heads and chiefs to actually stress important points of their budget or request or explain things in detail. And I think it was helpful for both the council members to have that exchange and for the department heads to be able to verbalize that. Is there a reason we didn't formally have that this time as we've gone through the budget process?
I think the only time that I've seen that since I've been on council, and Mayor Mayberry, you and Art have been here before me, is when there's been a question, and when the city manager at the time was not sure or didn't feel comfortable about putting in their budget as recommendation, and so then it was brought before council to make the decision.
Okay.
I've not seen any of that, but if there's something that, but
Well,
it's usually when there's an issue.
I just sitting in on some in the past, I've just noticed, they'd go down the line and ask the police chief, fire chief.
They used to be done that way.
And I just, it seemed helpful. It seemed like it was a good opportunity for council to ask questions, or if a department head had a particular need or justifying. So I'm just curious. It just seems like it was
The
different.
department head had a chance to lobby for what they felt they needed.
Yeah, and I think it was helpful to both sides.
And to provide the information.
Well, the most recent thing, I think, topic-wise that came up was that I think Councilman Shanks last year was interested in providing another SRO officer. So then we had brought up Chief Brooks to discuss that, even though at the time the city manager was kind of unsure, and that was brought forward. So, I mean, we can do that. The goal is that, I mean, we have 3 readings to do this. Council members have every opportunity to discuss that in those 2 other meetings. I'm fine with that. I just hate to do it when we're behind the 8 ball.
No, I agree. We're probably already past that opportunity for this time. Maybe something to consider next year, because some things I might not even know to query a department head about. Hey, was this important to you? Is this something that we really need to look at? Was it pulled? Just gives them another opportunity and us. So obviously,
I agree with you, Mark.
We'll do that next year. But
well, right there, I think that's a fair assessment. The nice thing has been is that for the most part, we pretty much have given the departments what they want. Whereas I think in the past, not to be ugly, but down the road, council didn't want to spend a dime on anything.
Right.
Now we give pay raises. Pretty much, it's a part of our SOP. At least since I can remember, that used to be an issue, as well as everything else. So you're right, we can do that. But most of the time, it's been city manager, fill me in, that we pretty much, for the most part, within budget, have given departments what they wanted.
Agreed.
I meet with the department heads also before the budget gets presented to you.
Yeah, and clearly, but that puts extra onus and burden on you to try to decide, call this or call that. I just remember in years ago, not under your or even Greg Wood's tenure, there were things that department heads thought were important, and they never even got a chance to be considered.
Sure.
So, yeah, just an observation.
It seems that we have a work session in January or February of every year, and you might want to invite the department heads to make a short presentation.
Sure, I just try to follow the way that our government is set up, and I'm not sure if you all have had those meetings, but I think what happened in the past, and this is just me from the outside looking in, is that we have a city manager form of government, and really our job is to operate as a board. We really need to be directing our questions specifically to the city manager if we have questions. I don't mind doing that.
Right.
I think some people would question before his time that sometimes there was some gray area between micromanaging, mayors were micromanaging the city manager form of government.
Sure.
And I'm open to whatever. I think, Nathan, you're giving the heads up, let's do that. But if there's something specific, council, next year, if you all have questions about, let's have that conversation
Early on.
60, 90 days ago or even sooner, just because I hate to we're literally running out, we have 7 days.
No,
right?
I agree
So-
on the suggestion. We back up now. Just an observation. Thank you.
Perfect.
Sometimes, like I did today with a whole notebook full of questions, you can call Nathan and get your answers just like that.
Right.
But I didn't have my questions when I was talking to the city manager yesterday, so or she would have answered them. But along with Mike's discussion there, I'd like to discuss that a little bit more. This is our third and final reading, correct?
Sure.
So do we need to rescind that motion and start it over?
As of right now, motion and second.
Or we're just in discussion right now?
We're in discussion right now, and then myself or whoever made the motion or whatever, the second can withdraw it, or we can force the vote, and then it goes where it goes. So, but we're in discussion at this point, so do you have questions specifically?
I don't have questions, I have requests or suggestions. Hospice has been removed. I think hospice is of utmost importance. I would like it put back in at $5,000 as it was. I think victim offender reconciliation program is very expensive, so I'd like to put that back in at $2,000.
Time out. What is it? Victim?
Avalon.
Hold on.
Avalon is not.
Victim
Four?
offender.
Four.
Yeah,
That's
four.
four.
You want 2,000 that they have on there. You want 5,000 for hospice.
3,000 for Avalon Center. My question on creative compassion, was that not a tap fee or was that actual money?
Yeah, that's
It's typically been tap fees like hospice or.
I mean, that's a funny number, 2702.
Creative Compassion, we don't have an agreement with them like we do for Habitat. Habitat, we have an agreement with, I think they just request money.
Okay, I'm just going back to a few years.
2702?
Yeah. I don't. Okay, never mind. And I would like to add 5,000 back to Fair Park Senior Center. And I would like to move the $1,450,000 for Fire Station 1 renovation and then bump it a year for further discussion at that time. You're building a new fire station right out here. I don't see why you need to be remodeling one over here at the same time. And that's my addition to the final reading.
James, I'm not questioning you about the Station 1, but they're trying to time it where when the ladder truck comes in, that it goes right. Otherwise, it won't have nowhere to put it if they don't have that done. That's my assumption. Is that true, Chief?
That is correct. That's for us to get the other ladder, the existing ladder we've got, will go downtown, the 107 straight stick. It'll be downtown, and right now, we simply don't have the building to accommodate that.
So it's at the old 2 right now?
It is, sir, and when the new truck comes in, the new platform, it will be at the new 2, and the other ladder will be downtown. That gives us the north and south
So now
sides
it-
for our coverage.
So you got 3 stalls at the new 2,
We do, sir.
and how many downtown?
We have 2 currently.
They won't- it won't go in it.
Wise, it's the type of that ladder in that small old bay that we've got. It just don't, it just doesn't fit. It's something we've been looking at for some time.
For a while, long time.
Yeah, for actually, that was one of the identified things that they said to us about our ISO stuff too. We needed a ladder on the south end and the north end for coverage zones, so it really benefits us all the way around.
And you expect that remodel to be done in this fiscal year?
I do, sir. Well, yeah, that's our goal to do. So,
Nathan, the DCI is getting money, are they not? I don't hear it showing that they don't have any.
Somewhere.
It's been moved though we've moved it, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
in-
it's edited that way,
Yeah,
okay.
it's in the hotel now.
Okay, and then the VSO, we cut them down by 5,000 as well? From 25 to 20?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone want to add the VSO in there as well, since we're adding stuff back, or? Okay.
The what?
Be a veteran service.
Veteran Service Officer, that's pretty important too, if we're adding in.
I agree.
You don't want to add that back in there too?
That's fine.
Okay,
As
so
far as
we'll
I'm
add-
concerned,
we'll add VSO?
this is my motion, so I'm okay with
Yeah.
any of those changes.
So you want to add VSO back in another 5,000?
We need to
So-
clarify. the
Hold on a second, Is there anything else? I know we took out Friends of the Trails, we took out, 50? Do we want to add that back in there at all?
No, I don't.
Time out. Friends of the Trails is gone completely? It's not located somewhere else in here?
Does he have any plans? Did he?
He just asked for money. I mean, like all these people, they're asking for money. I mean, I just, my whole goal, if you remember, I think, is that this budget used to be, it was ballooning almost to a $400,000 amount of money, and I'm trying to get this down so that we can focus things that people that elected us want us to do, to offset costs for the recreation facility, make sure we're paying our employees consistently, we're adding proper benefits, we're investing in our capital improvement plans. My fear is we're going to go back to exactly what we were doing. This is going to turn into an additional 25,000, would then go to 100,000. It's just going to continue because what I'm finding is people are utilizing city funds, taxpayer funds, to offset their budgets. The reason why I'll mention it and I'll be quiet is the reason why I've cut these down is that a lot of these are not city specific, it's county specific. Then county needs to take that over or fund it. If we are going to fund it, the county needs to fund it, and it needs to be proportional. 20%, whatever the county is funding, in my opinion, the city needs to fund 20 based off population. So that's where I got with holding lines on hospice by keeping it at 15 because the county is doing 30. We're still giving 50% of what the county's given. The VORP, I hate to say it, but I've asked around. I mean, it's an advocacy thing. I've asked different people within the legal community, both on the judge side and whatnot, that don't necessarily feel that there's necessarily the value. The Avalon Center is getting the money as I had asked them to do from the county. So 3,000 you're putting back in, they're getting that from the county based on what the county budget committee had just done. So that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to get us to a point where people don't have this expectation that city taxpayer money is going to organizations that they don't necessarily agree with. So that's where I'm at on that. So
Did you mention the county giving hospice money? Did you mention
I
that?
didn't say that. I said,
Okay, I misunderstood.
but hospice is a county-wide.
Yeah.
I mean, my thoughts are they should be getting their money from the county, not the city. And if they do get it from the county, ours should be proportional to the population because you can't guarantee. And hospice, hospice is budgeted. I understand that Medicare pays less. Welcome to my world, as it does. But that's all. I feel like we're going backwards in this discussion from what I thought many of you at this table had agreed to last year. That's just me. But I'll do it to will on one person. That's where I'm at with it. But if we're going to go ahead and add these people back, then we need to add everybody else back. Because how do you pick winners and losers? And then you look at the budget, and then that goes back up to 6 figures. That's my whole thing. So, any other comments before we make amendments? Because we're in discussion before we do that.
I just want to say, I do agree with what you're saying. It's just don't, ideally, we wouldn't be taking taxpayer money and contributing it to.
But you also have said in the past that everybody in the county comes to the city for all
They
of this.
do. Yeah.
So,
It
it is what it is. Some of these are just, I think, very worthwhile agencies, and anybody that's had any experience with them. And I don't know how many people have had to deal with hospice in the city of Crossville. One came to see me yesterday. But what they do is amazing.
Oh, I think funding them or not funding them has nothing to do, I'm not trying to say none of these businesses aren't worthwhile in what they do. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how do you pick winners and losers? Because what this literally does is it's going to open the door back up to where you're going to have 25 people, and we're going to go back to a $500,000 budget in outside agencies. I just feel like there needs to be some ground rules if we move forward on, do they provide services city exclusive? Is the county funding them? Do we have a conversation about, I think, because we're all over the place, and I don't know, I feel like last year's budget was really good in what we had done, and I thought we were working towards it this year, but, I'm one person, so if you all want to add stuff back, but if we're going to do that, I hate that we're waiting to this last minute, because I would have went back and said these 15 agencies that I personally worked with to get them off the city's proverbial nipple, excuse my French, that we're going, if I would have known you all would have done this, then I would have potentially said, okay, well, let's get these other ones back in. So that's my concern. I mean, my thought is let's have a conversation with Nathan on how we structure moving forward. It sounds like there's some things, and then next year we can have a better guideline. I mean, none of this money that we're pulling from these agencies is going to break their bank. But nonetheless, there's a motion. You started it, and I've seconded it. So is there any other discussion? At this point, it sounds like you all would like for us to change it. You say you're willing to change all this, or specific ones?
Yeah, I don't know how the best way to go about this. This is not one of those that I.
Was that falling into my motion? My motion was for,
Right now, there's no motion you can do.
Well, I
because
started
you have
with the
you have
motion
to
to
address the
approve the
motion on the
budget.
floor. So right now, the
Okay.
motion is to approve the budget as was in your most recent.
you got a second on that, yeah?
Yeah, so now it's discussion. What happens now is that the person that made the motion can amend or not. The second person has to agree to that. So,
Or it goes to vote, right?
well, if he wants to change and I don't, it
Right.
now
But
it
if
now
neither one of you
voids that.
changes it or pulls it.
Right, it goes to a vote. So if you're willing to change, it's fine. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, because I don't want to.
I think I know.
I know.
I
I'm not supposed to.
I agree. But these are good organizations, so I don't want to. I'll agree to amend that endorsement, and I'll just go ahead and agree to amend my.
And I'm not, so that then cancels it. So now the motion is back on the floor. So
So now
somebody.
there's a vote on the motion. If the motion fails, then a new motion can be made with those amendments.
Yes. So since we both didn't agree, so it stands as is.
If
So
that fails, we have another special call meeting Thursday.
I
Set it
guess.
early.
okay. So the motion is to approve the budget currently as submitted for fiscal year 25-26. Bailey, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Gurnt,
Aye.
Councilmember Turner,
No?
Councilmember Fox,
Aye.
Councilmember Mayberry,
No,
Mayor Crawford.
Aye. Motion approves. Budget is finalized for fiscal year 25-26. That moves us into our ordinance, third reading for fiscal year 25-26 tax rate. I'm happy to report, regardless of what some people had suggested or thought when you two ran, there is no property tax increase for this year. So we have to approve what the tax rate is, which, just to be clear, it is 0.6059 per $100 of assessed value, which is what the current rate is currently.
move to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving now into 2A. This is the first reading for an ordinance for abandonment of right-of-way for a portion of the Livingston Road. This is coming from the Planning Commission. So you can see it right now being played out evidently right here. If you look on your legislative text, it shows that we're changing the way that the road is being structured, correct? City Manager, you want to kind of fill in there a little bit while I'm trying to get caught up?
Currently, well, not currently, but
See that?
previously, the road here to the right, as you came out, now it's going to be, you're going to come straight out and make a right or a left.
We're going to get that.
That, the road is being rerouted.
Okay.
And that's to slow things down. It's-
It's the way the state wants it.
Oh, okay.
It's also
They
safety.
don't like those angles.
Probably to slow
Go out
that
and deep
down.
draw and you'll see where they've modified all of those.
Yeah.
Is it
That's
just,
the latest
is it just this one here, or is it this one and that one? Or is it just the one? I may be mixing up things. The right of way, is it just this right here? It's not,
It's just right away over here. If you look at the exhibit A that's on the screen,
yeah.
it's the hatched out area to the right is the right of way. The proposed new right of way is to the left. And we'll be bringing that back to you here shortly in the next couple of meetings. The new right of way.
So again,
Just the old road, the old angle.
just make it 90 degrees. So this will be one of 3 readings, since it's an abandonment of right-of-way. This does require a vote.
It's 3 readings,
Okay, so,
because it's abandonment of a right-of-way.
all right, since we don't have consent agenda, that's why we're doing this way.
Yes.
All right, so can I entertain a motion for the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Moving into other business. 3A, discussion and action of Rotary Clock Agreement.
Yes, the Rotary Club has asked the city for permission to place a clock at the depot. It's about a 7 to 8 foot clock with 4 sides on it that will have chimes. They are receiving that clock from a donation. I'm proposing that we agree to maintain the area. There will be a sign also recognizing the city of Crossville, Cumberland County, and Rotary Club, and the person that donated the clock. And they will also be installing crab orchard stone benches around the clock. So we will maintain the area. That is our commitment.
Just noon Rotary or just all Rotary?
The foundation. All
Okay,
3
got it.
clubs.
Foundation, gotcha.
This kind of is in line with what the light poles are kind of looking, puts off the same vibe. Is it going to be black? I don't see a color on here. Do you
I
know?
think so.
Looks like it's 16 feet tall.
Is it 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be on the corner by the rejuvenated Christmas tree?
Yes.
So you're saying we have a backstop if the tree doesn't last, we can just decorate this?
There we go.
So I had a discussion with Steve Douglas, who's with the Rotary Club and the Rotary Foundation. We made a couple of changes to this on Friday. They're just cursory changes to, we want to make sure that the foundation and not the Rotary Club is mentioned throughout. And so there were just a few minor changes. I'll get the original to you.
What about the identification? Did you take care of that?
Yes.
I thought you were going to bring that up.
So you're changing it, Randy, where it'll always say Rotary Foundation? Is that what you just said?
Yes, the only exception being on the recognition plaque, it will say the Rotary Club. And by the time that this is signed, we change the new president that's coming in as well, so he'll be able to sign this agreement.
Okay.
It'll be a nice addition to the downtown area. So.
I move we approve.
Second?
Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving down to 3B, discussion and action to terminate contract with Kidwell and Company. I am pulling that at this time. And 3C is no longer needed because we took care of 1B. Can I entertain a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's the end of our meeting. There is lunch for council members and staff upstairs.
Mayor?
Stay around here. We got a couple things. Got to sign this.